Bruce Buffer here, and we're being broadcast around the world. Thanks everyone for joining us on the Solar Objections live action role play. I have the pleasure to introduce a big UFC fan, fellow poker player, Solar Pro, and my friend, Solar Joe.
Let's go. We are back on another week, another edition of Solar Objections live stream. And today we got superstar Solar Pro and my friend, Casimiro Lopez, or better known as KC Lopez. KC's actually been in solar since 2015. This guy is a door-knocking beast, solar trainer, recruiter, all-around awesome guy, and a friend of mine. Casey, man, thanks for making some time being here with us today, man.
What's up, Joe? Thanks for having me, man. Feel kind of lucky that I saw your post earlier that I'm the guy to be on your live show a year to the day that you started it. Is that true?
Almost, yeah. I was just surprised I even started. And a couple weeks after I started, I was like, what the heck? I just started a podcast live stream accidentally. So about almost a few weeks, though.
Okay, cool. Yeah, man. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. And thanks for being here. And everybody watching, Casey is one of the coolest guys I know in solar. Take this opportunity, say hi, ask him a question. Maybe you form an objection he wants to handle. But take the opportunity, say what's up. Let's get in the comments, ask some questions, and get excited. But if you guys want your name shown, make sure you go to the bottom of the post and click on the StreamYours link to show your name, or it's just going to say Facebook user. You don't want that, right? So Casey, today, he's actually doing this to honor, and he's going to go over his 30 days hard solar challenge. Do you want to tell us a little bit about, or actually, you know what? Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you actually got into solar, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So back in 2015, I was still selling alarms door to door, and a company at the time came to town. And at that time, if you wanted to sell solar, you basically had to move to California. And I was done moving, and I didn't want to be doing that anymore. And they came to town in my backyard in San Antonio and said, hey, we're doing door-to-door solar out here. Do you want to join? I said, heck yeah, I do. And I pretty much dove in feet first, just like any salesman, follow the money. You dive in feet first. And so that's kind of how I got my start, learned from a lot of great people back then. And those were like the early stages of Texas and San Antonio of heavily adapting into solar at the time. You know, it was really hard getting going, because no one had it. So, there was no Joneses to keep up with when we started selling solar. So it was really hard, but we persevered. And I always tell people, because of the work we did down here in Texas and specifically San Antonio, there's a reason why the market's so good. And there's a reason why there's a huge adaptation in solar now.
No, I hear you, man. I'm glad that you're in this industry, because we definitely need you and we appreciate you. So how did you come up with this? I'll put the graphic up so you can kind of go over it, but how did you come up with this 30-day hard solar edition challenge?
I had one of my partners, who's actually our top sales guy, say, hey, Casey, I actually want to do some hard shit in September. I was like, okay.
That was he said, I want to do some hard shit.
Yeah, I want to do some hard shit in September. And I was like, okay, this guy has actually attempted 75 hard. If y'all know anything about Andy Frisella, he does a 75 hard campaign. It's pretty grueling. There's certain stipulations you have to follow. And I was like, okay, well, he attempted 75 hard, I think like 5 times, and finally completed it. I think his 5th try. And I was like, you know what? It just clicked. I was like, let's do 30 days hard, because I believe anyone can do something hard for 30 days. And let's do a solar edition for it. And so, I kind of mimicked it a little bit, but it works. And that's what our guys are currently doing. I posted it a lot on Facebook. A lot of y'all that follow me see my stories, day 12, day 1, day 2, et cetera, all my stories. And so that's what we're doing this September, and it's really taken off.
So I'm putting the graphic up. Can you go over a little bit how you came up with it, how it's working, and some of the things you'll get out of doing it?
Well, just like the graphic says, this is not a fitness challenge. Even though if you do most of the stuff there, you might lose a little bit of weight. But I can't take claim to that. But yes, it's supposed to multiply these traits that we all have in ourselves. It's just they may be low at some point, or we just need them to come out full throttle. And so confidence is one of it. Is one of the traits in your life that a lot of people need to have, especially if you're a door-to-door salesman or if you're in sales in general, right? So, boosting your confidence, boosting your self-belief, knowing that, you know what, I can actually do this, and believing that you can, gritness, knowing that you worked hard, you were in the sun, you're sweating, you went full 30 days, integrity, actually doing what you say you're going to do, right? A lot of us fail at that sometimes, and sometimes it's every day. Sometimes, a lot of us work on that, and it's a daily thing that I'll be honest, I work on it daily, to have the integrity, and also accountability, not only accountability to yourself, but to your leadership and also to your team. And so this 30 days hard, it's not even about the numbers. I actually told my guys this today. It's not even about the numbers that you could produce in 30 hard. It's not even about, the money that you're going to make by doing the things that I've outlined for the 30 days hard. It's more about developing these habits and carrying those habits over, and really focusing on what made you successful in the beginning when you first got to sales. When we all started sales, they told you, if you do this, if you do X and Y, it always equals Z. Some of us have strayed from that. Some of us have gotten away from that. And it's a way to kind of like wrangle yourself back in. It's a way for you to challenge yourself, because everyone loves a challenge. No one just wants to do something to do it, right? You almost have to challenge yourself. And so this was a challenge to kind of recommit yourself to doing those things that made you successful in the beginning in sales.
All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to kind of go over the 6 steps to start this challenge. So before we get there, we got one comment I want to throw in here. Let's go, Casey Lopez and Joe Musakill. All right. So I want to get right into it. So this is going to be the 30 Days Hard Solar Edition. Anything else you want to add before we get into it?
I'm still a little bit nervous. Do you mind if I grab a quick drink, Joe?
There you go. Off camera.
Just kidding. No, but yeah, it's really hot in here, man. Is my beard looking all right?
Yeah, you looking slick, bro. That comb definitely helped out. I need to brush mine down.
Oh yeah. I'll send over some good stuff to help your beard grow, man.
Yeah, and color too. There's too many grays coming out too. So, all right, man. Here we go. The first thing for the 30 Days Hard Solar Edition Challenge. Follow a strict schedule. No going home early or starting late for the entire 30 days. Before you get into it, is this more for door knockers only, digital door knockers, or lead generators, closers? Who is this really specified for?
So we're in day 22 of 30 Days Hard. And after looking back, this can actually be applied to anyone in sales. Whether you do, virtual sales, whether you are door knocking, or if you're working from an office that gives you that kind of like extra time to like leave when you want. This is now for everybody. I'm trying to make it like an every sales environment thing, if that makes sense. Sorry, I'm just trying to come up with the words there. But yes, follow a strict schedule. So, a lot of people, like I said, a lot of these traits we strayed away from. It's like, hey, look, we got to set. Hey, we got to close. I'm done. Dude, it's 6 o'clock. I'm going home. Or, you know what? I don't need to start till 12. And so kind of what I told my guys is, look, I don't care what your schedule is. It doesn't matter to me, because these are habits that you're trying to develop for yourself and get back to. Just stick to it. Whatever you pick, 12 to dark, 4 to dark, 6 to dark, just don't start late and don't go home early, not a minute early or a minute late. And so, that's to help you carry on these traits, to carry on these attributes into the next month or the month after that, right? They always say it takes 21 days to develop a habit. We're in day 22. I truly believe all my guys now have really good habits after following this program. So stick to a strict schedule. Whatever you say you're going to do, that's part of the accountability. That's part of the integrity traits for 30 Days Hard. If you say you're going to work from 12 to 8, you work from 12 to 8.
So talking is one thing, right, Casey? Anybody could be like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And then like 5 days later, like, what did I say? You know what? Forget it. So is part of the strategy to make sure you write it down, and that's how you really keep yourself accountable?
No, accountability is I had everyone text me. They're offline, not on GroupMe or anything where other people can see the schedules, because everyone's schedule may be different. We have we have a mom of 3 kids doing this 30 Days Hard Challenge, and she's out there knocking doors. Her schedule is going to be completely different from, the 24 single guy, the 24-year-old single guy. or, you know, the guy, you know, that has a wife and 2 kids. So sorry. So I had them text me their schedule so that I can hold them accountable. But we're keeping an honor system, just like with the 75 hard challenge. We're keeping an honor system. You know, if you start late, and you know if you start early. And right here on the goal board, when we write down, you know, goals and stuff, we can tell.
There you go. So that's definitely holding accountability. But even if there's a mom of 3 or a 24-year-old guy, they still could like know their own schedule, know their own ability, and have that. Because one thing is like setting up yourself for the month, right? And then another thing is like things change as you go through. But if you set that up in the beginning, you're gonna have to force yourself to do it. No excuses,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. No excuses.
All right. So the next one I have here is show up to work every day and give daily updates and goals. Before we get into it, we got a couple more comments. Preston Shreve said, "Let's go."
What's up, Preston?
Eric Garcia, great to see you, Casey. Dude is fire. Hey, speaking of Eric Garcia, this guy is the man. He invited me to do a live training in Dallas in about 2 weeks, on October 1st and 2nd. So I got to bring it up. Eric Garcia and the crew, we're going to be doing a live training in Dallas on October 1st and 2nd. If you haven't signed up, sign up. Go to the solarmastermindcon.com.
Yeah, I actually might see you there, Joe. And Eric Garcia, thanks for the comment, man. Me and Eric actually used to work together many years ago. He's a great guy, and glad to see he's doing well. So, yeah, shout out to Eric Garcia.
Yeah, and then we got Peter Brunwasser, digital door knocker, now plus run, company appointment. I guess he's excited. He's doing his digital door knocking with the Panda appointments.
Yeah, he can do this program.
There you go. I know he was pretty excited to do the challenge. He said he's doing his own challenge. Oh, that's great. Yeah. All right, Casey, so let's get into it. Show up to work every day and give daily updates and goals. Can you talk more about what that actually means?
Yeah, a lot of sales organizations, you know, they get wrapped up in, you know, they have experienced guys, you know, these guys that sell X amount a week or X amount a month, and they don't feel like maybe they need to go to a meeting every day or 3 times a week, and they just want to do the Tuesday, Friday pump up meeting, and that's all they need. Or sometimes people just want to be like the lone wolf and just go about it themselves. They don't need to come into an office. They don't need that hoorah rah. I mean, at the end of the day, everyone needs it. You need some pump up, whether you listen to a podcast in the morning on your way to the gym, or you go to the gym, or, you know, you have your wife say, "Hey, that's a nice haircut." Like you want, and people need that pump up, right? Like they want to feel good about themselves, right? They may not say that they want it, but they want it and they need it. And so showing up to work every day is that accountability. If people committed to the 30 days hard, part of it is showing up every day. So everyone else that shows up every day, we now know who's staying committed to the 30 days hard. Secondly, to give daily updates and goals, right? Again, going back to not starting late and not ending early, stick to a strict schedule. We'll know by the goal board if you're actually doing what you say you're going to do, right? There's no way if you text me your schedule was from 12 to 8 and you got 0 on the day or 1 on the day, like something happened somewhere. Either you started late or you went home early, right? And we all have a bad day. You know, it happens, but you got to come in here, hold your head up high, and you got to say 0 if that's what you got, right? You know, and so it's just holding accountability to everyone and also to the team, letting people know like, hey, I'm coming to the meetings too, man.
And even if you're not going to an office, not everybody goes to an office, to meet. Like, even if you're working virtually, you still have to take that same attitude. If your commute is from your bedroom to the office, that's still going to work, right? And people don't. Like, take a shower, get ready to work, dress up, be ready to go, as opposed to think, you're home, no big deal, right?
Well, you can take this a step further. You're right, Joe. You can go literally from your bedroom to the den, and that's your office. And if your goal yesterday was to contact 15 people and try to get a lead out of them somewhere, I don't know how virtual works, right? Like, y'all do all that stuff. I'm a straight door-to-door head. But, you know, writing down a goal on a whiteboard in your own home and just going and looking at it and going, wow, you know, my goal was to call 15 people. I only called 3. What did I do yesterday? Right? And then you could, you know, and then you start saying, okay, I need to get better at it. So, yes, you can still do this program from home.
Yeah, man. And a lot of people, you know, they hear, oh, door knockers, I don't do that. But at the end of the day, we're all doing the same thing, just differently, right?
Yep, exactly.
All right. So the next one I have here, and I was actually a little curious what this exactly meant, because I didn't know what you know, is it just like a street, or what do you mean by work in assigned area?
Again, you know, these are all things that you know, everyone's probably going right now like, dude, like this is just basic stuff that guys should be doing. Well, you're probably right. And not that our guys specifically aren't doing it. It's just sometimes we get out of our habits, and we call it going back to basics. If you're behind on your goals, or you're behind on your sales quota for the month, or you just feel like you're just not closing the right amount of deals, right? So sometimes people just like to float around town. I mean, everyone watching, if you're in sales, you just end up if you're in door to door, sometimes you just get in the car and you drive to an area, but you don't know where that area is at until you've like, I guess I've been driving for 45 minutes. I guess I'll stop here. Like, so working in an assigned area literally outlines for you, no, I'm working this area or this zip code or this specific street or this specific neighborhood. This is my area. This is where I'm going to work. This is where I'm going to stake my flag. This is where I'm going to, you know, get all my deals at. This is where I'm going to stay out for a month. And our guys are working now. They have a huge swath of area to cover for the whole month. But a lot of them, you know, in door to door, you get used to, you know, they always say the hardest door to overcome is your car door sometimes when you're in door to door sales.
I never heard that before, actually. I like that. Say it again. Say it again.
To get out the car, right, in order to knock a door. So being able to know where your area is at and know exactly where you're going every day, you can better plan your day.
That's how I got it too, was like, plan your day. Don't just go random and expect to get the best results. The more you prepare, the more you prep, the more you plan on where you're going and why you're doing this, mapping things out, the more you're going to be successful, right? That's just the bottom line.
Exactly. And we actually did our areas earlier this month. So everyone had, we did something fun. I had some money guns. We did collecting money for like first place, second place. I came up with quadrants. So I actually came up with, you know, Delta sector, Alpha sector, Beta sector, Charlie sector, and people based upon the amount of money that they grab from the money machine. We actually made it really fun. They picked the area that they wanted to, because that was the area that they were going to commit to for 30 days hard during this challenge. And so no one has left their area.
Awesome, man. I appreciate that. Before I get into the comments, I just want to talk to the audience. Hey guys, Casey was nervous to get on here, and he is killing it right now. If you guys appreciate him getting on here, even though he's nervous, go put in the comments. Thanks, Casey. Thanks for getting on here. Skylar Dyer jumped in the comments, though. I wanted to jump in here.
Skylar
Dyer. Casey's Nuggets fire. Another Texas guy.
Yes, Skylar's amazing.
I love Skylar. He's phenomenal, man. Skylar's got to get on the show. I want to get a Skylar on the live show.
You got to get him on the show next. Yes, he's got a lot of golden nuggets.
Man, he is so much information, and he's so selfless too. We got Brian Scott wanted to jump into. Thanks, Casey. True and intelligent motivation. Strength. Let's go.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.
All right, bro. There's a couple more I wanted to get into, because now we're going to get into like more of a door knocking, but you can kind of change it to whatever you're doing too, right? So yeah. Number 4, knock 2 streets for 1 hour a day. Tell me more.
So being in door-to-door sales, I mean, the biggest secret is door knocking sucks. Like, it just does, but we do it because of the freedom that it could create and the monetary value that it brings, that helps us and segues us into other aspects of our life, whether it being, you know, buying property or eventually getting off the doors at some point, or starting a company or anything else that you want to do with that money besides squander it, right? And so, you know, with that being said, a lot of people, again, you know, they like to drive around. They just hit a door here, they hit a door there, and they don't really put focus into the time on that specific street. And then what you end up looking like is just the guy that just shows up and ends up on the next door app saying, hey, did you get that weird guy like in that weird shirt pop in at 4 o'clock? We haven't seen him since, you know, and then you just become that weird guy that pops into neighborhoods. And, you know, solar, you know, depending on your EPC or your installer or your market, you know, it can be a 30-day install, maybe even a 2-week install, maybe even a 45-day or even up to 60-day install. So when you're knocking those streets, you're picking those streets out because you're in your area for the month, and you're going to have people, right, either get installed, or you're going to talk to that person that says, hey, you know what, I'm not interested. And they're going to go set up with another person, and then they're going to close solar, and you're going to knock a person down the street. Now you're name dropping, right? Now when you go back to that person to get your second no, it's not so much of like, hey, I don't want it. It's like, no, we actually set up Karen down the street, and Bob also went solar with us. He's actually sitting with us across the street, you know, Lorenzo. So you sure you didn't want to get, you know, that proposal? It takes like 15 minutes. I'll just talk to you real quick. And so you start, you know, solidifying yourself in Cloverleaf in the area. And so a lot of folks, they kind of get away from that. They're like, I don't need to get out of my car to knock a whole street. I'm just going to use an app and use white pages and go to all the new homeowners lists and not do that. It's like, okay, well, if we're really going to challenge ourselves, if you're doing that, then the biggest challenge is to actually get out of your car and knock one street for an hour a day. So basically knock 2 streets for 1 hour a day. So you're knocking 2 hours a day walking. Right. And I know for some of y'all watching, you're like, Casey, I already do that already. Great. Then that's not really a challenge for you. I challenge you to go knock 4 or 5 or whatever it is. Right. That will actually challenge you. And so, you know, for us, just making that extra effort, making that extra challenge that some people get away from will actually benefit you.
Or you could be creative. You could just glue an empty coffee cup on top of your car, and you'll have all the homeowners running out trying to get that save you.
That's actually a good idea. I'm gonna do that one today.
So I know we're talking about door knocking and going to houses, but this is the same exact thing for phone calls, right? Yeah. Like it's not 2 streets, it's 20 phone calls. Like make sure you do it, right? Like even if you get 5 no's in a row, because that's the hard part, right? Like you hear like, oh, you know what, forget it. But that next one that could be the one, right?
Exactly. And so you can knock out your 2 hours early in the morning. You can knock out your 2 hours late at night during prime time. You can start knocking in the morning. You can do 1 hour at night. Doesn't matter. Just knock 2 streets for 1 hour a day. So you're knocking 2 streets, 2 hours. That's going to give you plenty of time to talk to a lot of people, and you'll probably get more leads, more sets, more appointments, more closes by doing that than jumping from street to street to street.
That's awesome, man. I got a couple of more comments I want to throw in, if that's cool with you, Casey.
Cool.
So Eric Garcia wanted to throw another comment here. Casey is a natural. Should be a movie star.
All right, now you're being too nice. All right, he needs to stop. No, I'm just kidding.
Now, you do have a great personality, man. You're funny.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it.
A stage presence to you too, man. Clarissa Medina wanted to jump in. What's up, Clarissa? So she said, Casey is speaking pure truth, but we got to do it.
That's true. It's one. It's like they always say, right? Don't talk about it, be about it, right?
Be about it. That's what you are. I can guarantee you that. So Facebook user didn't want to show the name, but Zach. Hey guys, it's Zach, new to solar, starting my company from ground up. Excited to see you all in Texas in a couple of weeks. There you go. See you in 2 weeks. If you guys haven't signed up yet, go to solarmastermindcon.com. Sign up. Okay, let's get back into it. Appreciate it, Zach. So number 5. Read 10 pages of an entrepreneurship personal development book per day. Tell me about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, this just stems from anyone that I've known that I aspire to be like. I strive to pursue what they've accomplished. They've all read. I mean, they have like a bookshelf behind them in their office of books that they've read, and not only read once, but like 2 or 3 times. And they all have their favorite book, and they all can quote it. And so for a lot of people starting out in this challenge or taking on this challenge, you know, they may not read as consistently as they want to, or they do an audio book. I truly believe if you actually get the book, the hardback copy of the book, you're reading it, you can take notes, you can highlight it, you can go back and reread. Sometimes when you're doing the audio and you're doing the podcast on Spotify in your car, I mean, you're driving, you're looking around, you know, you might see that girl over there, that cute guy over there, or whatever you're into, right? Or you get the stop sign, or you're trying to get your milk bottle. You miss the audio part of what you're probably supposed to hear anyways. And, you know, you completely skip over and you don't know that you did. And when you actually read and you have the book in front of you, it's a lot easier, and you're going to retain that information a little bit more. And again, anyone that looks to better themselves, if you look at the people that you want to aspire to be, I guarantee you they've read at minimum 10 to 15 books. And so through this challenge, it's not even, like I said, it's not about the numbers. It's about developing habits. And a very good habit successful people have is they read.
Speaking of this, we had Lisa Manson on last week, and her and Randy Jason, she's from Texas too. And she does is every morning she invites other solar pros throughout the industry, and she does 20 pages. She reads it for everybody, 20 pages per day of an entrepreneurship personal development book at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. And right now she's reading Fanatical Prospecting. If that's not a good entrepreneurship book, I don't know what is.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So reach out to her if you guys want to add another 10 or 20 pages per day into your part of your day.
There you go.
Anything else on the reading?
No, it's pretty straightforward, Joe. I mean, you just have to read. I personally went and bought, let me see here. I told my guys, look, I'm going to provide the books for you. I literally provided the book. So I bought 10 copies of Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort. I bought 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and I bought How to Become a Great Salesman by Monday. So my guys had 3 books to choose from. They had to pick one, and they're currently reading.
Got it. I appreciate it. All right. And we got the last one, and then we'll move on to a Q&A if you're down.
Okay.
Number 6. Knock one last door before leaving area. One picture has to be taken after you do. Talk about it.
So again, you're right. This is kind of, taking a little bit of that 75 hard campaign that Andy Frisella does. He makes you take a progress pick, right? And, with Andy Frisella's program, if you miss any of those things that you're supposed to do, you have to start all over. And that the accountability, the integrity, right? The honesty policy. And so we're not going to start over on our 30 days. We're just going to continue on. And so part of that is that progress pick, right? Kind of mimicking that. And so Michael O'Donnell, shout out to him. He always says, go get one last no.
Yep.
Go get one last no. And more likely you're not going to get the no. You're going to get a set and you're going to knock that last door. So, I just reverse engineered it, knock that one last door. Right? Don't just be that guy that you've probably been the last 30, 60, 90, 120 days where you're at the end of the street and go, man, no one's home. I'm just going to walk back to my car. It's hot. And you're just like dragging your knuckles on the ground, just walking back to your car. And you could have knocked, those 5 last doors, right? So go knock that last door. And part of the accountability to the, lost my train of thought. Part of the accountability to people's schedules is taking a picture after you do. A lot of my guys been taking a picture right before they knock the door. They're like, this is my last door about to knock in. You can tell it's dark outside. The night lights are on, right? The porch lights are on. The moon is out. And so that's, again, part of the accountability, letting everyone know that you're sticking to your schedule, right? And that you're knocking your last door, right?
Where do you have them? Like, I know for you, it might be to your business, but like, let's say we have where the audience wants to do it. Should they post it on their story, their Facebook, or Instagram? Like, where do you think is the best place to post the stuff?
If you're not a part of our organization wanting to do a 30 days hard?
Yeah.
I think stories. I think stories are a great way to reach a broader audience. I don't know how many times I make a post and I think there's memes about it on Instagram and Facebook. You can make a post, but you might only get 20 or 30 likes, but you create a story, you have 200-300 views, right? And so I think posting it on your story, hey, last door, people might actually ask you, hey, bro, what was that story that you posted? What was up with that last door? What's going on? And if you're in solar, that's an easy way to recruit people. Oh, yeah, dude, I was actually working late last night. I worked till 8:30. Oh, word? Yeah, man. Like, you want to come out with me tomorrow and knock doors and see what this industry is about? And so I think posting your story would probably be a more beneficial way for you to not only recruit, but also let people know what you're doing. And hold yourself accountable, because then the stories, right, you get a memory a year later. So if you're not where you want to be a year later and you see that memory pop up, hey, last year I knocked doors till 8:30. Why am I home right now? Right. So yeah, it's a good way to hold yourself accountable.
Awesome, man. Casey, I really appreciate that. The audience really appreciate it. Thanks for definitely doing this. I know we did it pretty quick. Is that cool? We do a little Q&A with you afterwards?
Yeah. Again, I just want to reiterate that the 30 Days Hard campaign is something I came up with. It can be throughout any pest, alarm, solar, it doesn't matter, right? I feel like there's certain things in there that if you're a top person, if you're a top producer and you've strayed away, or you want to do something hard and challenge yourself, sometimes the basic things are the hardest things to stay consistent at. No matter how many sales that you do at at whatever, industry you're in, the basic things are the hardest to actually stay consistent at. And so I think if you really want to challenge yourself, reach out to me. Let's talk about 30 Days Hard. I can send you over the slides. Like I'm willing to help you out. It's not just for solar. It could be for pests. It could be for alarms. It could be for realtors. It could be for people that do virtual. I honestly have already gone down the road of actually writing like a little mini book about it, so that way I can give it out to people. Because this is taking off like wildfire down here in San Antonio. I have another organization that wants to jump on board with it and wants me to come in and kind of hold their organization accountable. So again. Guys, I get it. Y'all are just like, wow, he just listed 5 or 6 things on there that are super basic. You're right, they are, but not a lot of people are owning them. Not a lot of people are living up to them daily, and their results speak of it. And I feel like, in order to be successful, sometimes you do have to go back to the basics and develop those better habits that made you successful when you first got into the industry you're in.
That's really important, because a lot of people think this is for people just starting out or rookies, but no, some of the most experienced people, including me, start not doing the things that made you successful in the beginning. And this is a good way to trigger that back up, spark it back up again, right?
You hit the word on the nail, trigger. Because when you know you can work a strict schedule, and you know you can work in an assigned area, when you know you're reading, right? When you know you're knocking that last door and not passing all the other ones, that triggers you to go, that wasn't that hard, which boosts up your self-confidence, which boosts up your beliefs, your self-belief, right? And you go, you know what? Shit, you might go 30 days harder and do it the next month and do something crazy.
And leadership, right? Then you're showing guys that I'm doing it, then you should be doing it too, right?
Exactly. This is huge. Yes.
We got some more comments on again before the Q&A. Ruthie G in the house. She said, Casey.
What's up, Ruth? Happy belated birthday. Sorry I didn't
Happy birthday, Ruthie
text
G.
you on your birthday. Happy belated.
Happy belated birthday. Ruthie said, stories always more viewers. Yes. And Glenn Myers want to say, I want the slides.
Awesome, Glenn. Yes, I'll send over the slides, bud.
So let's do this. This really quick. I appreciate you, man. Solar Pro Q&A. So before that, we have a couple of comments that want to ask you a question. Clarissa Medina has a question for you. Are you ready? Doesn't matter. You're getting this. Hey, Casey, just out of curiosity, do you guys carry iPads or journals when door knocking? Everyone's different. Hey, Joe, as always, you rock. You rock.
Our guys carry a mix. Some of our guys still use old school wooden clipboard with pieces of paper, and they write down the stuff. Other people use their cell phones. Other people do use iPads. I'm going to go with use whatever you're confident with. Right? If you're out there knocking the doors and it's easier for you to write stuff down, use that pen and paper. That actually might make the customer feel more comfortable, because now you're not entering stuff into a device, which God knows where that goes, right? People get spams, people start thinking certain things. If you're comfortable with the iPad, we're selling technology, right? Solar panels, right? Use that to your ability, right? Have some sales slicks ready to go. Have a utility bill on there. So I say go whatever you're more confident with. Our guys use a mixture, and it's whatever they're confident with. I don't try to push one thing or another. Now, I may say like, hey, this might help you out a little bit more, but ultimately it's up to them, right? And so, just go with whatever you're confident with.
All right. All right. We got one more question. Ruthie G, Ruth Gazone has a question for you. How is the Texas market? I feel like I'm hearing so many sales orgs, individuals moving there to do solar.
Yes, Ruth, a lot of people are moving to do solar. And in fact, I'm actually talking to one individual in particular that might be moving as well. And yes, the Texas market is amazing right now. Like I said, when I got in 2015, the market where I'm at in San Antonio there were solar companies here, but they weren't doing the numbers that they were doing now. Right? Like I said, the Joneses didn't have it out here. So there was no one to keep up with. And so making that sale was a lot harder, right? Even when our rebates were like $1.60 a watt, it was crazy. No one wanted solar. It was nuts. And so all that hard work, all that persistence paid off, right? Selling those first people, selling the Joneses, and then being able to say now the Joneses have it, right? Being able to develop that and cultivate an area. We've literally cultivated an area out here that has now brought more fruitfulness to the new solar people that are coming to Texas. You guys are welcome for all the hard work we did down here in Texas for y'all to move down here and make it a successful market. But yes, Texas market is growing. It's booming. Dare I say it's probably going to rival California here in a couple of years. It's going to be an interesting space to be in the next couple of years. And so I did this on a Clubhouse about a couple of months ago, and I'll do it again right here live on Joe's podcast. I invite anyone. I will buy your plane ticket. Come down here to Texas. Let me show you that it's a great market. Come down here. Come be a part of Delta Solar Power, even if it's for a week, a couple of weeks. Come down here. You want to learn what we're doing? You want to know what we're about? Come down here. I invite you.
I love it. That's confidence right there. I'll pay for your plane ticket to come down here. I don't care who you are. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that before, besides you.
I mean, it depends on who it is. It might just be a one-way, but I don't know. But just
I love that. You're stuck. I don't know how you get back home, but I got you here.
Yeah, I got you here. You made money. You go home. You figure out yourself.
Well, I think you got one person ready to go. Ruthie G's like, yes. So you got one round airfare to buy.
There you go.
She's laughing. So I'm going to get into some questions for you, Casey. But guys, if you have any questions, go ahead. Put in the comments. He's down. Any objection you want him to handle?
Get more people on here. If you notice some friends that aren't watching, get them on here. Hurry up. Let's go.
Let's go. Hurry up, right? All right. So I got some questions for you, man. And I know that I know some of this stuff, but I want the audience to know more about you. And what I know about you is that you've been a door knocking beast before solar. So can you talk a little bit about what you did before solar and how was the transition?
I've gone through a lot of transitions, actually. I started off my career as a technician, alarm technician. So that was very interesting, right? You know, I was traveling every summer, installing alarms, then transitioned into sales. And I wasn't the best salesman either, you know, especially my first year, I sucked transitioning from solar alarm technician to, you know, alarm sales. I eventually got better and eventually got good and more consistent. And then I transitioned into solar. And so the transition wasn't that hard. Because when you're already knocking doors, you already have that confidence to just go sell something. You just need to know a little bit of the specifics, right? What exactly am I selling? So the transition wasn't hard for me, in particular, but because solar is a follow-up game. In alarms, I did the opposite, right? Like I was consistent. I sold alarms, but I would always like to follow up, where a lot of people, you know, they always said the be-back bus never comes back. You know, I would make the be-back bus come back in alarms. And so my transition was a lot easier in solar, because people that said we wanted to think about it, I'd be like, cool, I'll come back next week. And then they'd be like, oh crap, you came back. Sure, yes, let's sign up. And so the transition was a little bit easier for me. I've had some people, you know, not be as successful at it, but they eventually get at it. But I feel like if you're in sales in general, whether it's door-to-door, virtual, or whatever, right? If you know some specifics and you have the confidence to just talk to people and you can talk about anything and be anyone's friend, the transition shouldn't be that hard. I mean, you know, when I first started in solar, they said the learning rate was 3 months. And if I sold a deal within 3 months, I was doing good. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And so throughout, from 2015 at various different levels and positions, you know, being able to take people from a 3-month, me being told that's what it takes for you to be successful, to try to make them money their first week. We have done a lot of work. There's a lot of information out there, and there's a lot of training being provided.
Man, I agree with that. We got another a question from Glenn Myers. Be ready for this. When can you fly me out?
Hit me up on Facebook, man. Messenger. My stuff's probably going to be blown up, but I am down. Come on down here. And yeah, you can come to our office. We'll write your name on the goal board for a week or 2 weeks, however long you want to stay out. Let's go.
Let's fly them out on October 1st and 2nd, so they come to the mastermind too.
There you go.
Kill a couple birds with one stone. So I know that you're door knocking a lot, but you have a team, and I'm sure there's a kind of percentages that go around. Are you just door knocking? Are you doing any virtual, phone, texting? What kind of ratio are you doing?
I just talked about this a little bit on Clubhouse, probably about I think a week ago. The only time we did not door knock was in April of last year when we were shut down. And then in May 1st, when the governor opened us back up, we went straight to door knocking, straight being in people's homes. We're pretty much 100% door knocking. We do very little virtual or phone or text. And I mean, okay, I guess 99.98, right? Door knocking. The other is like by default, like customer just wants to text, but we still push to go to the door, being at the house or the garage or the back patio or the front porch, right? So a lot of our team is door knocking. And why? I truly feel that's the most people that you're going to talk to in any given amount of day. There's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. You can totally do virtual. You can totally do over the phone. You can totally do text. I just, unfortunately, I wish someone, you know what, anyone that knows virtual phone and text and they want to come down and learn door to door, teach me virtual, because I need to know it. I'm saying it right now. I need to learn that stuff, because that's the only reason why we haven't transitioned to it. And maybe we're going to be behind on the times in a year. Maybe not. I don't know. You know, with this whole COVID stuff, thinking that would shut the door-to-door stuff down. No, it only made it better. So, for me, I just haven't had an opportunity to say, well, you know what? Door knocking was great while it lasted. Let's try this virtual stuff. I haven't had to do that yet. But if anyone out there knows virtual phone or text, hey, again, I'll fly you down to come teach me. I would love to open up that other leg of our business and see what it's about. Again, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. I just feel this is the most effective one, but that's just from my personal opinion. And again, I'm not knocking any virtual phone or texting guys out there that are probably doing more volume than any, regular sales guy on the month. So props to you if you are.
Well, props to you, because I know you're killing it and you're training and you're teaching people how to make money from just walking around the neighborhood. That's, to me, amazing. And that's how I started in my sales. It was door knocking and talking to anybody I could. So that's part of the kind of things you have to do to get to become a legitimate closer. I think you have to learn the door knocking, dealing with the nose and dealing with that part too, right?
Exactly.
I got a comment here I want to throw in. Peter Brunwasser wanted to say, you can have the best equipment and even price, but if you don't have the right people or leadership behind you, it just doesn't work, in my opinion.
Bingo.
Glenn, why don't you jump in again? No, I'm sorry, wrong one. Where is he? I'm sorry. I got you, man. How can I find you? Facebook Messenger, Glenn.
Facebook Messenger. Casey Lopez. I think, I'm under Casey Lopez, yeah.
He says his cold texting campaigns are killing it. I know he's been a big advocate on that.
Interesting. I would love to learn how. I'm willing to learn. If I can open up my head and you can teach me and put in the knowledge, or be like the Matrix, how she says, Tank, teach me how to fly a helicopter. I would love to be able to download that information and know what you know, just like y'all may want to know what I know.
For sure. All right, we got a question from Brian Scott. How many sales are you knocking a month? How many is your team? Well, how many doors, I would say, because it's hard to talk about sales, but how many doors are you knocking a month and how many is your team?
So right now, how many? So is that for me personally? Like, how many sales am I knocking out a month?
Yeah, I don't think knocking is doors knocking. So I think it just means how many doors you're hitting.
So every sale that we make through Delta Solar Power is a door knock sale. We don't really get, I think I've gotten a couple of leads from referrals from people that we've sold, referral trees, or, our website, one maybe come in. But most of our sales come in through our door-to-door campaign. Me personally, let me see here. This month I've only done 3. But I mean, I'm over here running an organization. You know what I'm saying?
Organization, and you sold 3 deals. That's pretty impressive, bro.
Yeah.
Most of them are just having everybody else sell the deals for them, right?
Well, I mean, we run a lead setter closer campaign as well. So, our closers stay pretty stacked with the setters that we have out here.
All right. A big thing is learning from other people's mistakes, so you don't have to make that mistake yourself, right? So You've been building your organization. Tell us, what mistakes have you learned from while building it, if you could think of any?
The number one thing that I guess I've learned is trying to have too much control. For me, I always thought from other people having all the control was the way to go. That you had to do everything. No, you don't. Like, if you have a great vision and you have a great goal, and you can articulate that in a way that makes sense to people and they can get bought in on that, you can actually get your, people rallied behind you. And that's one thing that I was blessed to have, was to have a great vision and a goal at the time that we started this. And I didn't wear 9 different hats when I started my organization. I was fortunate enough to bring on 3 partners at the time when I had no one. and say, guys, this is what I want to do. This is how I know I want to accomplish it. But I need you, you, and you. And I actually brought them in because I don't want to do everything. I can't do everything. Also realizing what you're not good at. A lot of people think that, oh, well, I'll just get good at it. If I start my own company, I'll be forced to get good at it. It's like, that doesn't solve the problem either. You have to realize what you're not good at and bring in people that are good at it. And so I would say the biggest mistakes that I've learned is trying to own everything yourself and trying to say that, you'll get good at something that you probably won't get good at. And if you haven't been good at it for 5 years, you're not going to get good at it overnight. And if you're expecting to open up an organization or open up a company or start at a high level of leadership, you just need to be upfront with yourself, honestly, and be upfront with people and tell them, look, I'm not good at it, and this is why I'm bringing you in.
Learn how to delegate, right?
Learn how to delegate and duplicate.
And duplicate. There you go. I'm going to keep going along. I want to get as many questions as I can before time is up here. This is a question that I ask all the time, but I always like to know, how do you deal with all the no's and rejection you get naturally from being in sales?
Initially, I don't hear them. Just like any good door-to-door salesman, I mean, you don't really hear like the first 1 or 2 no's that you may get on the door, or 1 or 2 no's that you may even get on the house, inside the house at the presentation. But once you do start hearing them, realize them, and listen, right? Some of the best closers are also the best listeners. So, sometimes that rejection may just be a smokescreen, but if you aren't listening out for it, the customers will literally tell you what their issue is, but you have to listen. But naturally, just me personally, I don't hear like the first 1 or 2 no's. I just keep on going.
Actually, I love that answer. I haven't even heard that answer before. Like, what no? I didn't hear no. What? That's great. So we got another question in the comments, if you don't mind. Clarissa Medina has a question. Hey, Casey, at what point in your journey did you make the decision to hire and build a team? Can you give some insight on how you talk to people to help them learn how to door knock?
Yeah, I'm rereading this one. Hey, Casey, at what point in your journey did you make the decision to hire and build a team? I just kind of fell in it initially, leadership, I guess. I was an Eagle Scout, so I think leadership kind of became easy to me at a young age. I
love that. I was an Eagle Scout. That's why I'm a great leader. I love that because you get it from when you're young, right?
I mean, that's on some level, right? I have to, attribute that. But I think if you want to grow, right? It's like that quote. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, right? And so I think the only way to really go far and duplicate yourself as far as either whether it's making more money or having more freedom, right? I think you ultimately end up leading yourself to that decision to hire and build a team. And it's not an easy decision because you take on a lot of responsibility, you take on a lot of babysitting, you take on a lot of accountability, right? But if you're up for the challenge, that decision will present itself. And let me see some insight on how you talk to people to help them learn how to door knock. You have to lead out yourself, like I said, I do run an organization. I get out when I can, but I'm not afraid to do the dirty work, right? And it's just integrity, doing what you say you're going to do. If you say you're going to go door knock with someone, go door knock with them, right? But, I've been fortunate enough to be able to do what I've done in my past, to have the people that I have surrounded by me now understand that, yes, Casey is amazing. He can go close whenever he wants. He can go hit a door right now. Today, I will literally run out this office, take the laptop with me and go lock a door. Right now, there's a neighborhood right behind us, a couple blocks down. So just being able to lead out in a way that, when you ask people and you're telling them what to do kind of, or you're saying this is what you should do in a nice way, knowing that when you say that, you're not asking them to do or anything that you haven't done or aren't willing to do yourself. And so that's part of door knocking, right? If I can't knock a door, how can I expect to teach anyone else to knock a door, right? If I haven't made the money, how can I teach anyone else to make the money?
Lead from the front, right?
Yeah, someone once told me years ago, I think he's still in the solar space. I don't know yet. I have to double check. But I got told years and years ago, sell, recruit, and then manage. Those are the top 3 things, even if you're in leadership, even if you're at the bottom of the totem pole. Sell, recruit, and manage. If you even want to be in leadership, you should sell, recruit, and manage. If you are in leadership, you should sell, recruit, and manage.
And train.
In that order. Because if you're selling, right? More than likely, you're probably going to meet recruits out in the area. You're probably going to recruit them because you're selling too. If you have enough recruits, then you get to manage them, right? And so sell, recruit, and manage in that order.
Well, Clarissa, I want to say thanks for answering the questions, Casey. Appreciate it. So Ruth Gazone has a question for you. Casey, do you believe that all closers can be good setters and good setters be good closers, or some are better than one and the other? Question mark.
Good question. I think there are some people that are just really good at setting. I think there are some people that are just really good at closing. Like if you put this guy in the house, he's closing the deal. You put him on the door, he freezes up. You know, there are definitely those people. Can they be taught both? It's up to them whether or not they want to be taught both. When I started in the industry, we had to set and close our own deals. So I was forced to get good at both, right? Because if I didn't set that great appointment, then they were going to no-show me or stand me up, or there wasn't going to be the right expectation of closing inside the house. Now, after years and other people running these lead setter closer campaigns, there's people that are just really good at setting. There's people really good at closing. And if you are going to run one of those campaigns, you do want to keep the people going at what they're really good at. If they're really good at setting, keep them really good at setting. Now, does not mean that they cannot move up in the organization at all. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that there are levels to this. The sale doesn't start in the house. The sale starts on the doorstep. I truly believe that because one, you're getting them excited, right, about solar in general, right? They're going to close the door. They're going to Google you. They're going to go to work. They're going to talk to their family and friends and ask them about what they think about solar. Ask that buddy that has solar already. They're basically going to close themselves on solar, right, by the time you show up to the house. They just want to know that they can trust you and that you sound professional enough that they're going to buy from you. And so, you know, I always tell my setters, you know, you have the most important job ever. You know, the closers are basically reading from a script on numbers that they didn't even generate themselves. They're going like this, right? Now, there is some closing at the end where you have to kind of full throttle and take that customer over the edge, but, you know, you develop that. But there are people that are just good setters. There are people that are just good closers, but I don't think that one is better than the other. And I don't think that people are just subjected to just being labeled as just a good setter or just a good closer. I feel like if you really want to be up for the challenge and you want to take it on, you can be good at both.
Well, Ruth says, I appreciate your insight. Great question, guys. Keep them coming in. We only have a few more minutes left with Casey, and he may not be back until next year. Okay, guys, so let's go. Get some questions in. I only got a few more left. I'll let you go.
About this.
What's that?
Might have to make a Casey Lopez NFT.
Yeah, man, or get you back every week. Is that cool too?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm down.
All right, so you're the door knocking beast, right? So what kind of, can you give a little gold nugget, a little strategy of something that a door knock could use to help them?
I feel use any and available tool at your disposal. I mean, there's so much out there. There's YouTube. There's you know your direct upline. There's apps out there. You know, using Redfin or White Pages. You know, I feel right now that you have to use every tool at your disposal, right? You know, you need to do your research, right? Know what you're talking about. Customers are getting a lot more educated out there, right? You know, there's a lot of people moving from California to Texas, and you know, we're running into people that have already had solar on 3 houses, and they know exactly what they want, how they want it, and when they want that. And so, any special strategies? Time management. I feel time management is an underdog of a strategy that people don't take advantage of. We all have a certain amount of time in the day, and we all have stuff that we're obligated to, whether it's family, friends, wife, you know, whatever. And if you want to be successful at door knocking, you have to have extremely good time management. It doesn't even matter whether you made a sale or not. It's a matter of just putting yourself out there, because when you knock enough doors, you're gonna run into the right people, and you're gonna stumble across sales that are just complete laydowns, honestly, you know, using that word laydown. But special strategies, I think time management, if you can focus in on your time management and developing good habits, I feel that right there of again, this is where the 30 hard comes in, right? Those good habits that the 30 hard campaign has generated for these people and help them overcome. Those are going to be really good strategies to have going into Q4, you know, October, November, December.
That's a great tip. That's time management is so key. People just don't think about it. So I want to keep it going. Last question on solar, okay? And for me, it's like the most important thing is homeowners being happy and satisfied. But when you're running a team, door knockers, and they're just doing their thing out there, how do you maintain a great customer experience from a managerial perspective?
Wow, that's a really good question. Let me think about that real quick. How do you maintain a great customer experience from a managerial perspective? Well,
how do you make sure you guys are doing things right, ethical, and treating people right, and taking care of the homeowners? And if you're not there all the time, do you train on it? Do you remind them? Do you call customers? Anything you do particularly?
Well, I think it stems from our vision and our model. So Delta Solar Power came up with the name, stumbling across Greek, the Greek alphabet, and came across Delta. And then I came across the Delta model, which is actually a business model. And that is focused on basically creating a strong bond between the company and the customer. And that is our whole goal, right? How do we do that? We do that through consumer economics, not product economics. We're very customer centric, and we do that through strategic management. Again, I can't do this by myself. Delta only runs, like as much as I want to say I do this by myself, I don't. I have an amazing team that I was able to bring in and partner with, right, on our sales operations end, on our back office for our guys. So our guys get a great customer experience because we use strategic management, right? We use management in a way that, bridges the gap between the EPC and the client, right? And so the client knows what's going on with their job, and they know where their job is at all times, even if the rep fails to communicate that, right? Which our reps don't. They actually get updated as well. And honestly, just having that goal, right? Letting our guys know, hey, Delta, the meaning of it and the reason why we do that is the model Delta. You can literally go to Wikipedia, look up the Delta model, and it's a consumer-based approach versus on consumer economics versus product economics. We're not in there to just make a sale, get our commission, and get out of there. Half the other companies in our market and in Texas and everywhere else across the nation are. All they care about are their high commissions. All they care about, is their next sale. And they don't really care about the consumer. Half the time they leave the area, their numbers are gone, their numbers don't work, they don't want to answer, or their EPC went out of business and they can't even help the client anyways. And so, with us, we wanted to build a very strong organization from the get-go on the operation side. And that's how you keep a great customer experience. You can't just rely on the reps alone, right? I mean, guys, y'all are awesome and amazing, but we all get busy. We all forget to call that one client, but our operations team doesn't.
We got a comment I want to throw in here. We're running out of time here, but Preston wanted to jump in here. Love how you modeled your business, man. Fire.
Thanks, Preston.
Glenn Myers can't find you, by the way, so look for him on Facebook. He's searching everywhere for you. He's like, where? I got to find KC. All right, man. That was it about solar. I wanted to get to know you just a little bit before you go. Can you talk about us a little bit of some of your hobbies that you do outside of solar?
Yeah, so we live in the great state of Texas, so I do love my guns. I love going shooting. I love going hunting. And it's hunting season. It's right around the corner. So we go out to a family ranch that we have out in Hondo, Texas, and we go shoot and hunt out there. So that's one of the nice hobbies that I like to do. I just started taking up golf. Again, I wasn't very consistent at it, but I'm trying to be more consistent at it. Me and my other partner, actually, one of my other partners, we started and founded a off-road group called Lone Star Expeditions. I have a couple of Jeeps. He has a Jeep, and we like to go off-roading. We like to go camping, and so we do that as well.
Man, thank you so much for doing this, Casey. I really appreciate you. If anybody wants to reach out to you, how can they reach out to you?
Well, unlike Glenn Myers, you can find me.
I can't find you.
You can find me on Facebook. I'm under Casey Lopez. You can find me on Instagram under Cosmo, COSMO 0404. You can call me. My number is 210-687-7675. You can email me at casey@deltasolarpower.com. You can text me. I answer my phone at all hours of the night and early hours in the morning. Just get at me. Like I said, I'll hold it true. Anyone that wants to come down here and see what we're about, wants to be around our group, our great organization, wants to see how these guys do it on the doors, come down. Let's have a talk. I'll buy your airplane ticket. Come on down. Let's go. Let's show you why Texas, and you know what? Maybe you might move down here. Maybe you might even decide Delta's the organization for you. But one thing that I will promise is that we'll be friends.
Yo, forget the 30-day challenge. How about fly me out to Texas challenge? All right, man. Any last thoughts before we let you go, man?
No, Joe, I just wanted to take the time to thank you. You know, honestly, this is a scary thing for anyone to do, to come online, go on Facebook Live for the whole world to see. It's a scary thing to do. And even for someone who enjoys and is not scared of getting up in front of a live audience, not live on Facebook, but, you know, people literally 5 feet from you. This was a scary thing for me. You know, our 30-day challenge, you know, might be talked about, and I'm fine with that. There's no such thing as bad press, because it's supposed to challenge yourself, right? Like I said, the basics that made you successful in the beginning. And just so y'all know, I'm a pretty humble person. I'm an open book. Y'all can call me, text me. I'm willing to help out there. I'm not one to keep information to myself. There's too much information out there for me to think that I know it all. I want to share it all. Right. You know, one of my favorite quotes also from Richard Branson, and this is how I treat all my guys, and this is how, you know, I treat anyone that I talk to, right? You know, train people good enough so that way they can leave, but treat them good enough so that way they don't want to. Another great quote is the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time is now. So it's not too late to start, right? It's not too late to start learning. And guys, this was kind of hard for me to do. I'll be honest. It was interesting. And I want to thank Joe for calming me down and assuring me that this is going to be okay. So, Joe, thank you for, you know, giving me that, you know, that hug and, you know, that fist pound saying, dude, you got this. So yeah, guys, I'm an open book. If y'all want to know any more, you know, get at me.
Man, I knew you're going to be fine because I talk to you all the time, and you're always having. I love talking to you. It's just great conversations every time, and including this one, man. We got one more comment before we go. Peter Brunwasser put in here, "Fly me out the Texas Challenge."
Yes, yes.
So next week we have another solar pro. You know, Felice Ramos.
Oh yeah, Felice. Yes. She's over there in Albuquerque. She actually helped me. We opened up a market in Colorado, and she's a very helpful person. She's awesome. She knows a lot of people. She actually sent some people my way because we do great things over here. So shout out to Felice for doing that. I don't know if I ever thanked her personally, but that's my thank you, Felice. Thank you for doing that. She's a great person, and she's very knowledgeable.
Awesome. Really excited to have her on next week. And before I go, remember everybody, October 1st and 2nd, go to solarmastermindcon.com, get your tickets for the live training coming to Texas. But Casey, you are the man. I really appreciate you. I'm definitely going to be talking to you again. We're out.
Whose name am I writing up there this month? Next month? Whose name?
Who's going to be?
Texas. Let's go.
Let's go.